What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? This is Chris from the Msss Anomalies channel. Guys, welcome back. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I've been putting out a few here and there. I've got a real cool one for you. This one you're going to like. This one kind of goes hand in hand with my other video, not the last one, but the one prior to that, about my thoughts on a thriving civilization on Mars. Now, one of the things I said was that I believe that they knew that there was these cities long ago. In other words, this is not a recent discovery. They've known this for a long time. And this video should confirm that. Now, of course, it is a low-res picture from the Mariner. And we'll take a look right here. 1971 we go back. And this is from Mariner 9 views of Shield Volcano. Okay, this is pretty wild because you're going to find out in a second how this is very similar to some of the stuff we had done recently. You can see a Martian shield volcano approximately 25 miles across at the crater, photographed consecutively by Mariner 9 with the wide-angle and telephoto lenses. The summit crater and grooves down the flank probably were produced by subsiding flowing subsurface movement of magma. Magma rather. Mariner 9 was the first spacecraft to orbit around, well, another planet. I would say around another planet, but the spacecraft was designed to continue the atmospheric studies begun by Mariner 6 and 7. This is what's crazy. They're sending up satellites even to this day to, quote-unquote, sniff the atmosphere. They were doing this in the 70s, early 70s, 71, and to map over 70% of the Martian surface for the lowest from the lowest altitude, get this, 1,500 kilometers, 900 miles. And at the highest resolutions, 1 kilometer per pixel to 100 meters per pixel of any previous Mars mission. And it was launched, it tells you when it was May 30, 1971, and arrived in November 14, 1971. So, and you can see when it was added, it was in 2000. Okay, which is crazy. You'd think they would have mentioned this, or put this up a long time ago. So anyway, it goes way back to 1971, and guess what? You're going to like this. Let's see this is what I put on there, and I put in Google Shield Volcano. This is what I come up with. Olympus Mons. Imagine that. And I had just done a video on that, and of course, other people have done this in the past. Olympus Mons is the largest volcano on Mars. This shield volcano, similar to volcanoes in Hawaii, measures 624 kilometers, or 374 miles, in diameter by 25 kilometers, 16 miles high. It is 100 miles larger. I'm sorry, 100 miles. It is 100 times larger than Mauna Loa on Earth. Located in the Tharsis Plateau near the equator, Olympus Mons is bordered by a escarpment. The caldera in the center of the 80 kilometers, 50 miles wide, and contains multiple circular overlapping collapsed craters created by different volcanic events. The radial features on the slopes of the volcano were formed by overflowing lava and debris. So this is just crazy. I mean, so it makes you wonder what I'm about to show you. Well, you've already seen the other. If it's this one right here. But keep in mind, in this Tharsis region, I think it is, I think they call it, there's like 4. And Olympus Mons is one of the 4. So it's just kind of weird how this one popped up and then no others did when I did Google it. So, and like I said, I've done it. I've showed cities on there. You know, going way back, even Christian over a year ago has done this and showed what looked like cities and everything on there. And like I said, so yeah, this is no secret as far as that goes. But 1971, yeah, this is going back some time now. So let's jump right into this because this is just crazy. Now, again, you can see it's kind of not exactly the most... The magnified or zoomed in one is on the right-hand side of that squared area you see here on the left. And even then, I don't even know if that even looks like that. I mean, it's showing way up here, but yet, I don't know. It doesn't quite look like... I'm not seeing that black dot here. I mean, that's something there, but I don't know. It's not quite looking the same to me, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to look at the left-hand side. I'm looking at the right. So I want to show you guys something that's pretty wild. Now, this is a lot of this has been manipulated anyway. I mean, it has really been distorted. And you can see like this grid pattern. If you look carefully, you can see that all in there. So it makes you wonder if that is something in the picture itself, which I kind of believe that it is, because you can see it even in this one. But is it been laid down to distract the eyes? And the reason why I say that is because there's cities here. And it's all city. And I'm going to show you that right now. Okay. Now, you're not going to notice this. I want you to stick with me on this, because at first you're going to go, yeah, I'm really not seeing this. But understand, it is a low-res picture, even though it is, you know, the pixels are really pretty good considering 1971. But it's going to get a lot better. It's almost like they screwed up, and this is the reason why I want to show you this first. It's almost like they screwed up when they said, okay, well, let's go ahead and cover this stuff up. Because there's areas where it appears that they have not done such a great job. So anyway, I'm going to just zoom into this. And without doing a thing to it, you can just see these little lines going in different, you know, directions. Like all in here, there's like these 1, 2, 3 dots. I don't know if you can see that right there. 1, 2, 3, and then there's something larger. Okay, you go, well, okay. All right, let's jump into this, because you can see what looks like now. You can see what looks like, now thinking a very tiny, you know, you're looking down at a large city. You can see these multiple things here. And because they're distorted, you're seeing these weird round circles. Now, the people who have been watching my channel, they know that when I did the comparison of Manhattan City, where you got a nice pristine picture of Manhattan Island, and then you've got, what I did was I blurred it and kind of distorted it a little bit, and anything that was really, really pristine and sharp corners and edges suddenly turned into a blotch. Multiple structures that were near each other became a big square. They were no longer individual. So you can look at just look at these little things just all in a row here. I don't care about these lines, even though I think these have been, I think a lot of these are roads, but I think a lot of this they put in there to try to mess with your eyes, so to speak. So let's try to go in here a little bit darker here. Okay, now check this out. You got all of these little things just all in a row here. Now I'm gonna spin this thing around because I want you to see this part here. Okay. Now, you can see what looks like things going off in all these directions. Look at this. Like there's a bunch of like all these structures. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's just like a bunch of stuff all in a row here. Look at this. Different L shapes. All of these little... This is a huge city. Look at this. Everywhere you look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little squares next to each other. Round circles. Now, again, this is distorted because of the actual... you know, not the best quality in being black and white, of course. But let me show you something. Let me show you a little comparison. This is a mess. Now, most people go, well, I can tell that's a city. Well, you will, because you can actually make this out better. This is actually Mexico City, or part of Mexico City. And you can see how pristine, nice and sharp. The structures, 1, 2, 3, 4 next to each other. Looks nice, right? Pay attention to these tan buildings right here. What it looks like. Suddenly it looks like, oh, one big one and 2 little round circles. Well, that's not what the picture looks like. See it? If I blur it up a little bit, looks like 1, 2, looks like sectioned out buildings and 2 round circles. Well, that's not the case at all. It's close, but no cigar. Now, you can just see where I just try to ruin the picture a little bit. Now you know what this is, because you can clearly see this is a picture. You know, and what this the picture really is. So, you guys get the idea. But you can see, like, it looks like there's a bunch of squigglies in here. And people will be like, well, it looks like garbage there. Well, here's a perfect example. Look right here. It looks like a pool area or something, or some large building with a blue roof or something. But now when you add the noise, it looks like just this weird, it almost looks like a 7 if you tilt your head to the right. But look at these. It looks like this big squiggly line. You go, I'm not seeing nothing there. Well, look at this little squiggly. It looks like almost like a distorted S. Well, doesn't look like that at all now. So that's the idea I'm trying to give you guys. Now, you can see, like I said, there's multiple things sitting in this picture. It's all over the place. Look at these. Everywhere in here, there is buildings. This whole area is being occupied. Look at this right here. Right in here. See these? Look at this. Everywhere. Now, if you believe, well, I'm not seeing it, I don't really believe that, we can go down here a little bit. Check this out. Look at all these little things. Now, these little white things in different white shapes, they're actually buildings. And I'm going to show you where they actually, I think, kind of screwed up. But let's go down here a little bit more. Look at this. Just look at the way this stuff is laid out. I don't believe for a minute this is just nothing but a pattern. This is much more than a pattern here. When you're seeing, look at this, right here, squiggly lines. You have all these little things in between just sitting there. All over here. And how about the parts you're not seeing? Because it almost seems like if you look at these strands, look at this. It's like dark. This strand here is white. This one's dark, light. It's almost like they try to do purposely to really mess your eyeballs up. And here's another one of those things I was telling you about. It looks like something floating. This is like this last video I did. And, you know, when you see... well, actually, I did a couple videos lately that looks like something's floating in the air. Is it a cloud? That's a possibility. That's, you know, it could be a platform of something or something they're trying to hide under it. Why they wouldn't hide the rest of the city is beyond me, but this could be just nothing more than a cloud. You know? But now, let me show you something I think is pretty wild. Because I believe, even here, check this out. This whole area is nothing but a city. This whole thing. Now, I'm going to show you something that's a lot clearer, and you're just going to be like, whoa, that is just unreal. But let's tilt this again. We'll go to about 52 degrees. Seems like a decent angle. Now, watch this. Zoom back in. I don't know about you guys, but I can already see what looks like 1, 2, 3 small structures, things laying around in the ground here. See, they're very faintly, but they're there. See that? Don't have to do a thing to this picture, and you can see this. So this is not me manipulating it. This is actually there. So, and you can see something right here coming off of it. All these little, come on. Let's do this. Okay, pop. Check this out. The first thing I noticed right here in this area was this, looks like this dome area, and has what looks like a star kind of pattern coming off of it. See that? Looks like a giant tower or something, like a stack, like you'd find in some of these electric plants. But look at all of these things laying around. It's everywhere in this picture. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, this stuff is everywhere. Just look at it. It's everywhere. Look at this, whatever the hell this is. It's huge. But there's a bunch of little things. Keep in mind, what looks large, like I showed you here, can easily be distorted and look like something totally different. I'm trying to remember what this one here. There was one here. Look at this. Like, here's a good example. Look at it. Like this, the road, how it branches off. Watch how this looks like a circle, and this is a mess. Watch this. See it? It's a cluster of junk as opposed to 2 or 3 houses and what looks like their land. So it's nothing to really see a low-res picture and then try to pull it out. But even up here, you can see in the darker areas, even all over here. Look at this in the back. Now, watch this. It looks like along this black area they screwed up because it seems like it gets better and better and better quality to a certain degree. Right here. Now I'm going to bring this way down. Now watch this. As we go along, look right down here at the bottom as we're going along. You're going to start to see things coming a little bit clearer and a little bit more defined. Now around here, you can still see all these little, what look like, if you look closely, you can see what little squares and little buildings all right here. Now, over here though, watch this. It starts to get clearer. See it? It looks like there's trees, large buildings. Look at this. All in this area. More and more, it's starting to get more and more, like, it looks like defined as opposed to just a sloppy mess. And I think they made a mistake here. I think this is actually thrown in. I don't even think this is real, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like it to me, because you can clearly see this thing's running into this black area. So I'm going to say that this was thrown in. Now, keep watching, because look at this. All on the bottom here. Look at all of these buildings, and all what look like little structures all in here. See that? Looks like it could be trees. It looks like buildings. Of course, there's no way of knowing this, but as far as trees-wise. But watch this. As we get a little closer to this line going across, this is what's separating it. Now watch this. Watch how it starts to get more and more defined. Look at it. Down. All of a sudden, pop. Look at this. This, to me, is not an accident. This is a city. This is a huge city sitting right here in 1971. So when I said about these guys knew about this, and I said, of course, this is a hypothetical. Is it possible that we've taken over this planet? I mean, we could have just used something like germ warfare on this. And guys, I hope I'm totally wrong on this. I mean, this is just a guess. This is just thoughts. So, you know, don't jump to conclusions. And like I said, it was kind of comical how people actually left the thumbs down. It was like, you guys know this is a hypothetical, right? But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like I said, I mean, but look how it just got more and more defined as we were going along. It's almost like, you can see right here, it's a little bit whiter. Maybe that's the reason why. And they try to highly contrast the difference so you couldn't see. But you can see things, and as you go along, I'm going to drop down quickly so we don't have to keep doing that again. But you can start to see like more and more things are starting to pop. But this is all over this picture. This is not just one little area. This is, you can see these things like little, look at this, right here, here, all over this whole picture. But it's more defined here as you go along down here. And it's like all along where they try to contrast this or try to put this crater wall in, so to speak. And look at this, as you get closer down here, it starts to look more and more definitive. Look at this. To me, this screams city. Now, I don't know if you guys are on board. If you agree with me, let me know down below. But I'm seeing what looks like structures and civilization. Look at this. Even down to this corner. Check that out. You can see things that are clearly in this picture. Well, not clearly, you know what I mean. Even here, if we were to jump over this piece here, look at this. There's things all in this picture. And it seems like I said, they try to do it in wavelengths. Like, look at the kind of waves, kind of like, and I dull this out, to be honest. This was like this, right here. It was really contrast. So all of a sudden, it's like lighter, darker, lighter, darker. But you can see in the darker areas, these things actually run into the light and darker areas. See that? And there's a bunch of little structures in there. This is not something it's not an accident. Like I said, I don't even care about these line patterns. This grid pattern thrown over this picture. I don't even care. It's the little things in between that I'm after and that I'm questioning. So, you know, you guys can give me your take on this because, like I said, again, this was 1971. They knew this stuff was here long ago. And I'm going to tell you what, I'll be willing to bet it was long before the 60s. And they're just playing off, oh, yeah, well, you know, we're just trying to get a good idea. I mean, you read it. Well, I read it to you. About them, like, doing studies on the atmosphere. Well, wait a minute. Aren't they doing that now? And for what reason? Or is there another motive? And I think we all know it's not to study. Well, I guess it is to study the atmosphere to a certain. Now they want to look for methane. Or like everybody outside the United States like to call it methane. Either way is fine. But they're doing it for a reason. And if you just look up methane and what it's found in. It's anything from termites to oceans to, I mean, you name it, it's there. Come on. It would scream life, one way or the other. So this is what I wanted to tell you guys because this is clearly not just a crater. It's not. And like I said, if you guys can take this picture, what I'll do is I'll give you this picture here. You can analyze. And like I said, you can just see this stuff in here. I mean, it's just all in here. And if you do this, you can still see, there's that little dome area, has that weird kind of almost like a star shape coming out of it. The only thing I did was enhance it and brighten it up to pop this stuff out, and you can see it right there. Plain as day now. Something right there with the nice square, like, property to it. See it? Goes like this, comes down, and it looks like it has a stack and then maybe another one there or some kind of other building. But you can clearly see this stuff all over this area. And as soon as I started to even just pop this stuff out a little bit, I was like, oh my God, look at this stuff. Check it out. All along this blackened area, about from here to the blackened area. Check it out. It screams city. That's all this thing is. And they've known this forever. I mean, let's go 1970. Okay. This is like 45, 50 years ago, and I guarantee it's been longer than that. Like I said, they might have just thrown anything out in space. Hey, just, you know what, just throw something together, have it fly by Mars, and see if we could take a couple of pictures. What do they got to lose? They were probably so crude back then, they didn't care. You know, and it probably didn't cost them an abundance of cash either, compared to what they've got designed now. The high technology they're putting into these things, as well as launching them. I mean, yeah. It's insane. But see how, like, this right here, you can see, I don't know what this is, but this pattern goes into this darker area. This is what makes me believe this is, yeah, this is nothing but crap. So yeah, I'll let you guys see this. You can see what it looks like. See how, like, this is all along here. It seems like it's more densely populated, and I think this here was all thrown in, and this was manipulated to really try to hide that, because you can barely see that. Now, let me jump back in, because I want to show you this, guys, real quick. Okay, now I'm going to just go ahead and, this is this area here. And do a little sharpening and check it out. Now, this is actually, I believe, 52 degrees. Yeah, this has been rotated at 52 degrees clockwise. So you'll get all these pictures and stuff like that. And I might even throw up a couple of colored filtered ones too. Sharpen and unsharpen, because we can do this. Bring it back. The reason why I do the blurring is because I'm trying to show like more smoother edges, although it does look a little more blurred up. And then bring it out like this here. So I'll let you guys have both of these as well as these pictures here. I might even keep them already rotated, and this way you can see them. What I may do is actually do sections, like the top here. You can see it. Middle section here, and then down here in the bottom. This, to me, not so much, but you can see a bunch of it. You can actually see it all laying here. Look at the difference between it. Nothing. And then you got all, even though you can see these grid pattern better, you can still see what looks like other things in here as well. So, you get the idea. Alright guys, let me jump out of this. I'm just going to back out of this a little bit. Give you guys one final look. And let me know what you think. Throw a comment down below, as usual. Let me know what you guys think this stuff is. This, to me, is no doubt in my mind that this is structures. These are definitely structures, thousands of them. And I think this has been faked. Like I said, I don't believe that for a minute. It doesn't even look like this other picture. Somewhat, yes, I guess, but yeah. Like I said, I had that rotated at 52 degrees. It just seemed like a better angle to look at it. You can look at it like this too if you wanted to. Let me see. You can do it just like this. And still see it all. There it is. There's that little dome with the little... You know, I just happen to have it tilted like this at 52 degrees and just looked at it that way. It just seemed to look better. I don't know. But anyway, guys, give me your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Share this video. And I'm telling you, they've known this from day one. Even if they weren't orbiting, they were still the landers, the Viking landers and orbiters, the mariners. Yeah, come on. They've known this for a long time. I'd be willing to bet even push it to 50, 60 years they've known about this. When you know, they've only started to say, oh, by the way, these are our missions to Mars. But how do we know they didn't try this a long time ago? Meaning they haven't, you know, and then got some really wild-looking pictures and decided keep sending stuff there. And to this day, they're still going, and they're going to keep going. So, yeah, it just gives you something to think about, guys. I mean, it's frustrating in some ways that they're lying so much, but then... You know, when you start to pull this stuff out, you just feel good about, okay, well, at least we're finding this stuff out one way or the other. Because I watch other people's videos, and I'm just like, wow, I'm blown away. Because some of the stuff that they're showing in these things, and it kind of makes you feel good at the same time, even though you're frustrated. But, you know, yeah, you know, is it possible, you know, like I said, as far as that hypothetical I did on there, well, like I said, I hope I'm dead wrong. I mean, really, because... Yeah, if they're doing that kind of stuff to other, you know, other planets, but it wouldn't surprise me. Like I wrote in one of my comments, look at the way we are. We take what we want, and what we want to take. Everything from riches from other people in the past. We're fighting over land, even to this day. We're going after other countries for resources. I mean, you know, whoever has the most resources in the end is the superpower. We have, and I'm sure in other countries, and I know they do, other countries... just like we do, we have capped oil drilling sites. They're actually capped off. We have oil all over the place. Why are we getting it from the other countries? Well, think about it. If you deplete the other end, the other countries, well, guess what? And they're starving for oil. You still got a bunch of it back here at home. Guess who's the superpower? So there you go. And other countries as well are doing the same thing. So they're just saying, oh, just keep a little stockpile there, and we'll keep this for ourselves in case we need it. And there you go. So it's no wonder, you know... One way or the other, we take what we want to take. And a lot of countries on this planet are that way. So is it far-fetched to believe maybe we do something as awful as that, killing off another planet? I don't think it sounds too far-fetched, although I hope I'm wrong. Simple as that. Anyway, guys, enough of that. Made this long enough. I just want to show you that even back then in the 70s, I believe in the 60s, and maybe even the 50s, they've done this and checked these and had these pictures. So anyway, give me your thoughts as always. Want to hear what you guys got to say. I got some more cool ones coming up for you too, so stay tuned for that. And I want to, again, a big thank you to everybody who's jumped on board. I do appreciate it. And have a look at the videos. And don't forget to tell me what you think. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Have a good weekend coming up. And I'll see you next pick.